Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today, the murder of Trooper Trevor Casper, Wisconsin State Patrol. Trooper Casper was 21 years old. Now, he had 3 months on with the Wisconsin State Patrol. The day he died was his first day that he got to ride by himself. Now, if I'm understanding the resource material, he's the youngest trooper to be killed in the line of duty in the history of Wisconsin. Now, his mom and daddy were still alive, and he had 2 sisters. Now, our suspect in this episode is a bank robber. That's just about all he did, rob banks. So you rob banks, you're going to get the attention of the FBI, and the suspect was on the FBI's radar. Now, it's March 24th, 2015. It's about 2 o'clock in the evening in the town of Wasaki. Our suspect entered the State Bank of Florence, got cash, fired around into the ceiling, and left in an employee's vehicle. Now, a couple hours after the bank robbery, a man was found shot to death over there off of Jermac Road, which is off of 180. Now, that's just a little bit east of where the bank robbery occurred. Police believe that the person that robbed the bank more than likely shot and killed this citizen. Now, from what they could tell from that homicide crime scene, it appears that maybe the suspect had pulled up onto the property of the victim, and the victim had come by and told him to leave the property, and the suspect had shot and killed him. Now, the resource material never came out and said it, but FBI called the state police and told them about the suspect and his vehicle. Now, the way the resource material reads is the suspect swapped vehicles. He was no longer in the stolen bank employee vehicle. Now, what I'm curious about is if nobody saw the suspect's vehicle that's still alive, how'd the FBI know what vehicle he was in and the general direction of his travel? Now, unless the FBI was clairvoyant, then that leaves the obvious choice that the FBI had a tracker on the suspect's vehicle, because he was doing robberies all over Wisconsin and Michigan. Any event, the information is put out to the state patrol there in Wisconsin. Now, Trooper Casper, he pulls over on the highway crossover above Highway 41. It's right there at the exit for County Road 00. Now, that's in Fond du Lac County. Now, he sees the vehicle going southbound on Highway 41. And he puts that information out at 5:33 in the evening. Now, Trooper Casper, he doesn't put on his emergency lights or siren or anything. He just gets onto the interstate and he's following the suspect at a distance, which is definitely not like a typical my first day alone police officer would be. Trooper Casper was performing like a officer you would think that had years of experience. He was doing really, really well with this. Now, of course, when the information goes out, you've got other troopers starting to head back to Fond du Lac, because that's the town that the suspect's entering. Trooper Casper was going to wait, obviously, until he got other troopers with him before he made a stop, which is excellent. Exactly what you should do. Now, the suspect only goes about one more exit, and he gets off on the Johnson Street exit there, Fond du Lac, and he goes back eastbound on Johnson Street. Now, of course, this suspect is a wily criminal, so at some point, I don't know when, but he noticed a trooper car tailing behind him. Now, generally, you would think a suspect, 99 times out of 100, he's going to take some kind of evasive action to try to get away from the trooper, because he knows the longer the trooper keeps him in sight, the more help the trooper's going to get. Now, the suspect, he pulls through a shopping mall. Trooper Casper's still behind him. Now, when the suspect gets over on the east side of that shopping mall, he does a quick U-turn and comes directly back at the trooper. He cranks off around into the trooper's vehicle on the driver's side. Now, some of the resource material said Trooper Casper received his first wound while still in the car. I don't know. This information I'm using, though, came from the state police's investigative arm. This is their official report, so it should be fairly accurate. Now, after the suspect drives beside the trooper vehicle is still southbound and the suspect's vehicle is northbound. The suspect jumps out of the car while it's still moving. Trooper Casper, he jumps out of the trooper vehicle while it's still moving. Now, the trooper vehicle is evidently not moving very fast, because the trooper and the suspect engage in a shootout as they're running around the trooper vehicle. So the suspect and Trooper Casper are cranking off rounds at each other. And then the suspect took off and he ran southwest towards an apartment complex. The suspect's vehicle eventually came to a stop on the west side of North Burger Parkway, just east of the northeast corner of the Pick and Save. Now, that's that store located at 760 West Johnson Street. That's in that shopping center they just passed. Trooper Casper's vehicle stopped on the west side of North Burger Parkway, just northeast of the apartment building number 136. Now, evidently, one of the troopers actually pulled up just about the time that the shootout begins. He gets on the radio and advises that shots have been fired. So multiple troopers showed up, and the shootout's basically done by the time they can get out of their cars. Of course, you get the Fond du Lac Police Department, the Sheriff's Department get there, but I believe the information I read indicated the shootout lasted about 17 seconds. So they load up Trooper Casper into a trooper vehicle. They're heading to the hospital. They stop because an ambulance comes up. Now they're going to fly him to a hospital. They're going to head out to the airport, put him on a chopper, and get him to the hospital. But the Trooper Casper does not make it. He dies. So they don't even load him up. Now the police on the scene, they see the suspect lying out there in the open area between the roadway and the apartment complex. They finally figure out that he's dead. According to the state police report, the suspect was lying on his back. He had his arms above his head in a Y position, and he had two handguns out on the grass near his body. They also found that the suspect had pistol magazines. Some resource material said it was in his socks. The state report just merely states that they were attached to his ankles. Now, according to the ME, suspect died of one gunshot wound to the chest, pierced the heart. Trooper Casper was hit 3 times. He had one gunshot wound that entered the back and exited the chest, second wound to the neck, third wound to the left hand. Now, some of the reporting, the state report doesn't indicate it, but some of the news agencies, suspect was using armor-piercing rounds. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he had glazer safety slugs or what, but whatever he was firing, it was able to defeat the Kevlar vest. Trooper Trevor John Casper End of watch, March 24th, 2015.